I can still feel it, the exact pressure of his strong hand gripping the back of my thigh like a vice, squeezing so tightly that it stole the breath right out of my lungs. The narrow hallway just off the laundry room was dimly lit, filled with the steady hum of the washing machine vibrating against my back and the faint tick-tock of the kitchen clock echoing like a warning. Just a few feet away, the kitchen door stood slightly ajar. My husband Mark could have walked in at any moment, his footsteps on the hardwood floor announcing his presence. But in that frozen instant, none of that mattered enough to stop me. Ethan, the 26-year-old handyman we had hired to renovate our garage, pressed into me slowly, insistently. His breath was hot and ragged against the side of my neck, carrying the faint scent of sawdust and rain. I bit down hard on my lower lip, trying desperately to anchor myself, to stay silent. The sharp metallic taste of blood bloomed in my mouth as I fought back any sound that might escape. My knees weakened. My heart hammered wildly in my chest. A whirlwind of fear, overwhelming desire, crushing guilt, and raw, electric pleasure crashed over me all at once. I wanted to push him away with every rational part of my mind, but my body refused. I didn't push him away. Instead, I let it happen, clinging to the forbidden intensity that made me feel truly alive after years of emotional numbness. My name is Laura. I am 39 years old, a devoted mother of 2 teenagers, a wife of 15 years, and the quiet manager of our busy suburban household. I handle everything. The bills, the grocery lists, the endless calendar of soccer practices, parent-teacher meetings, doctor appointments, and family birthdays. My life had become a carefully built fortress of responsibilities, routines, and quiet sacrifices. I told myself I was safe inside those walls, protected from mistakes, from chaos, from anything that could shatter the stable picture we had painted for the outside world. My husband Mark is a good man in many ways, a hard-working provider who pours himself into his demanding corporate job. He leaves early in the morning and often returns late, exhausted, collapsing onto the couch with little energy left for conversation or connection. Over the years, our marriage had quietly shifted from passionate partners to polite roommates. We orbited each other like distant ghosts, sharing meals, discussing logistics, but rarely touching, rarely laughing deeply, rarely sharing our inner worlds. Intimacy had faded into almost nothing, leaving me with a profound, aching loneliness that I buried under daily chores and forced smiles. I convinced myself this was normal, that this was simply what long-term marriage looked like after kids, bills, and time had worn away the spark. That fragile normalcy began to crack the day we hired Ethan. He came recommended by a friend, young, punctual, quiet, with a shy but genuine smile and capable, calloused hands from years of physical labor. At first, he was just background noise in our home, carrying heavy boxes of materials, fixing loose drawers, cleaning up sawdust, and working efficiently on the garage renovation. I barely noticed him beyond a quick hello or offering him cold water on hot afternoons. But small, unexpected things started to shift the air between us. He remembered how I took my coffee. He asked about my day with real interest, his green eyes lingering just a second longer than necessary. When our hands accidentally brushed while passing tools or when he held the door for me, a strange warmth spread through my body, something I hadn't felt in years. His voice would drop slightly when he said my name, Laura. It sent an unexpected flutter through my stomach, like I was a teenager again instead of a tired 39-year-old wife and mother. I dismissed these feelings as harmless at first. Just innocent attention. Nothing more. Yet the tension built slowly, like storm clouds gathering on a humid summer day. One afternoon, while Mark was stuck late at the office, Ethan stayed behind to fix a leaky pipe under the kitchen sink. The house was unusually quiet except for the steady drip of water and the low hum of the refrigerator. I watched him work, his t-shirt riding up slightly, revealing toned muscle glistening with a light sheen of sweat. When he stood up and gently brushed a stray hair from my cheek with his thumb, something deep inside me cracked open. A seismic emotional shift. Part of me knew I should step back. But another part, the lonely, starved part, desperately wanted the dam to break. The hallway incident wasn't planned. It happened on an ordinary Tuesday. I had gone to the laundry room to grab fresh towels when Ethan followed me in to ask a quick question about the wiring. The space was tight and intimate. Our bodies ended up closer than they should have. One intense look into his eyes, dark with the same hidden hunger I was fighting in myself, and resistance melted away. He leaned in. I didn't stop him. His hands found my waist, strong and sure. When he pressed his body fully against mine, the sheer intensity and size of him made me gasp silently. I bit my lip hard again, tasting blood, trying to contain the whirlwind of sensations flooding through me. What followed were stolen, secret moments that I both craved with every fiber of my being and regretted with crushing shame. On a rainy Friday afternoon, with dark clouds bruising the sky and rain hammering against the windows, Ethan showed up at the back door unannounced. I whispered frantically, "I told you not to come here," gripping the edge of the sink until my knuckles turned white. But he stepped inside anyway, rain-soaked and trembling with need. "I tried, Laura. I swear to God, I tried to stay away," he said, his voice low and broken. Before I could find the strength to send him away, he crossed the kitchen in long strides. His hands were on me, warm and urgent. He kissed me with raw hunger, exploring under my shirt as I made a small, broken sound of surrender. He lifted me effortlessly onto the cold kitchen counter, the shock of the tile against my thighs mixing with the heat of his body. Rain pounded the windows in rhythm with our frantic breathing. When he pushed inside me, slow, deep, and overwhelming, I bit my lip once more to stifle my whimpers and tears. The mix of pleasure, guilt, fear of discovery, and long-suppressed desire was intoxicating and devastating all at once. In those moments, I felt seen, wanted, and passionately alive after a decade of quiet emotional starvation. Afterward, we held each other trembling in the kitchen as the rain continued to fall. He whispered, "I can't stop wanting this, wanting you." And deep down, I knew I couldn't either, even as the guilt began to settle heavily into my bones like cold cement. The affair continued in hidden fragments of time, quick touches, lingering looks, and risky encounters while Mark remained oblivious, lost in his work and evening routines. But secrets like this carry a heavy price. Days later, my teenage daughter found a crumpled note I had written and foolishly thrown away. "I can't stop wanting you." She held it up with wide, confused eyes and asked, "Who wrote this, Mom?" I snatched it back, stammering that it was nothing, but the seed of suspicion had been planted. The end came quietly and painfully. One evening, I overheard Ethan and Mark talking in the hallway. Mark handed him the final check and said casually, "The work is done. Don't come around anymore. We'll call someone else if we need anything." Ethan's jaw tightened. Our eyes met for one brief, agonizing second across the room, filled with pain, regret, unspoken words, and the weight of what we had done. Then he walked out the door for the last time. That night, lying beside my snoring husband, I felt torn in two. Part of me was flooded with relief that the dangerous chapter was finally over and the risk of total destruction had passed. But another, deeper part ached with profound loss. I missed not just Ethan, but the version of myself that had felt vibrant, desired, and passionately alive in his presence. The guilt was immense. I had betrayed Mark's trust, even if he never learned the full truth. I had taken a hammer to the foundation of our marriage. Yet a small, honest voice inside me whispered that I didn't entirely regret feeling wanted again after so many years of invisibility and emotional neglect. This true infidelity story isn't simply about a physical mistake. It's about a woman who was slowly disappearing inside her own life, starving for connection, attention, and passion. Emotional distance in a marriage can quietly open doors we swear we would never walk through. The real danger isn't always the act itself, but the quiet hunger that grows when we stop feeling truly seen by the person we promised forever to. Looking back now, months later, I sit with this heavy, complicated secret. How do you rebuild a life when you were the one who broke it? And how do you live with the knowledge that a hidden part of you still doesn't fully want to forget the fire that once made you feel everything again?